You wouldn't build a house without a foundation, so why try to build a business without one? Grow your contracting business and grow your mind with Growth Mindset Monday.
Welcome back to Mindset Monday. It was like a little earthquake. I bumped my desk and everything started shaking. Welcome back, though. I am so excited to be here today. As you guys can tell, I got my tan on. Yeah. What you don't know, because I'm not going to take my shirt off for you, is I've been peeling for the last week. A week ago? Yeah, I guess it was a week ago. Week and a half. The 4th of July. I was in Virginia Beach with my wife, my son and his wife, my brother and his wife. So having a good time out there. But I spent too much time in the sun and did not, as your mother says, put the sunscreen on. So I am literally peeling, and it's kind of gross. But hey, it is what it is, right? Anyway, welcome to the show. If you don't know who I am, I'm your host, Garrett Bake. I am the founder of the American Contractor Network and the creator of the Build Pro community. We're excited that you guys are here on another beautiful Monday with us. We've already got some folks checking in. If you don't know the drill, pretty simple. Name, business name, and where you're from, and we'll give you a shout out. Chapel Pressure Washing, we are here. Present. Welcome, my friend Daniel. I'm going to call you Mr. Reliable from now on. With Noble Custom Glass and Mirror, checking in from the mobile office. Happy Monday. Appreciate you guys being here. Again, if you're joining us live, go ahead and drop your name, your business name, and where you're from, and we'll give you the good old shout out. Funny that we are almost halfway through the month of July. We are definitely halfway through the year. Think about that. Doesn't it seem like yesterday was January and you're trying to plan out your year? What am I going to do this year? How much money do I want to make? Can I afford that truck or that hire or that building, right? And we're not really sure what's happening inside of there. And so we just kind of put a plan together. Some of you guys are better at this than others, but we kind of put a plan together and then off we go, right? Here we are halfway through the year. The first question that I always love to ask people halfway through the year is, where are you at in comparison to where you thought you're going to be? Because some people realistically don't ever go back to their goals, their targets, their ambitions, the things that they wanted to do this year until the year's over. Well, by then it's too late. It's too late. We can't help you, right? Nobody can, right? You can look back, yeah, sure, but you can't make the adjustments that you need to make at the frequency or the pace, or more importantly, the speed that you need to. Got a couple more folks to shout out here. Joseph Hukill, MJ Plumbing, Salt Lake City. Welcome, Joseph. He was with us this weekend at our contractor retreat up in Idaho. It was a great time. We got Joe Gideon, Tennessee, Valley Power Cleaning, Maryville. Hello, my friend. Welcome. And we've got Olga De La Cruz with Painter One, Greater Salt Lake area. Welcome. Michael Babbitt, BMF Services, Charlevoix, Michigan. Welcome to the show. Again, we got plenty more room for all y'all who are sitting there watching or listening. Go ahead and drop it. I'll give you a shout out. I promise. It won't be too scary. So we're really talking about planning, right? And I had this question that has been kind of percolating in my mind for a while now. And it was the question around, if you want to scale your business, you have to stop doing this. And then it transitioned to, if you want to scale your business, you should do this, right? Because as humans, we have a really hard time stopping certain behavior. It just is what it is. Like me and food, for example, we're like best friends. I love food. And you're like, but you're not fat. No, I'm not. That's because I work out pretty regularly, like almost every day. And I go to CrossFit. So I kill myself and then I enjoy some good food. In fact, this weekend I had a huckleberry shake. If you've never had a huckleberry shake, my friend, you are missing out. It is absolutely delicious and amazing. In fact, I think I had huckleberry ice cream one night and a huckleberry shake the second. But hey, either way, totally worth it. Totally worth it. Enjoyed myself for sure. Now, when we're talking about growing your business, at the end of the day, this is what I want you to understand. The biggest roadblock, the biggest thing in your way, if you will, isn't the economy. It's not politics. It's not tariffs. It's not the interest rate. It's not even the season. The truth is, the biggest thing in the way of you getting the results that you want in your business is 100% YOU. Yeah, I just said it. It's you. You are the reason that you're either getting results or you're not. This weekend, we had a room full of contractors, some of them, in the early phases of business, some of them doing multiple millions of dollars. And the conversation was the same. Like, we didn't change the topic based on where you're at in your business. Now, why do you think that is? Well, it's because it doesn't matter where you're at in your business. You still have the responsibility to ensure the success, or you have the responsibility for the failure of your business. Now, every quarter we have a theme, and this quarter, the theme was leadership, or I should say is leadership, right? And I should say, I like to read. And so I give everybody a book. Sometimes they're audiobook guys, but that's okay. But I like to read. And the book is Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. If you haven't had an opportunity to read it or listen to it, highly recommend it. He is an ex-Navy SEAL commander, not just a Navy SEAL, but also a Navy SEAL commander. And he talks about these concepts around leadership. But what I want to share with you is the idea of leadership. Like, what is leadership and why does it matter? Like, why does leadership matter to you, or why should it matter to you versus, hey man, I'm just going to go ahead and hire Johnny over here to run my marketing, or I'm going to hire, Charles and he's going to go ahead and be my project manager, right? Like, I don't need to worry about that or think about that anymore. And the problem with that is, again, you get into a place where all of a sudden you don't own the problem. Therefore, you can't be responsible for the solution. And a lot of contractors get stuck in this phase. Now, for some of you, it's, at $250,000 a year. For some of you, it's $750,000. For some of you, it's when you get over $1 million. But regardless, you get to this point, right, where it's not my fault. Therefore, it's not my responsibility. Now, I'm going to show you a little short video. But let me give you some story or some context around it first. Like I mentioned before, we had our quarterly retreat with some of our clients, and we went up to Idaho. And the name of the retreat was Hook, Line, and Strategy. So yes, we were going to be doing some fishing. We're going to be having some fun. But we're also going to be going over the fundamentals, right? Now, I've fished, I think, twice in my life. My dad wasn't a fisherman. My grandpa wasn't a fisherman. Like, I've fished twice in my life. And the last time was probably when I was like 18 years old. Well, we got a lot of avid fishermen in the group, including Joseph, right? A lot of avid fishermen. And so I was like, hey, great opportunity. So we went up to northeastern Idaho to a river called the Snake River. And it flows off the Tetons. It is an absolutely beautiful river, amazing spots to fish. So I get up there with the guys, and Ryan, who's one of the guys in our group, he's actually our marketing expert. Ryan's like, hey, are you going to fish? And I was like, I guess. He's like, all right, cool. I got a kit for you, right? So he had the waders, he had the shoes, the boots, and he had another pole, fly fishing pole. Never done fly fishing before. And, he's telling me, okay, let's get in the water. So we get in the water, and now he's starting to talk about, hey, look, this is where the fish like to hang out. This is how we determine what it is that the fish are probably biting on right now. And he just keeps going through this and whatnot, and I'm like, all right, Awesome. I'm not listening anymore. Just give me the pole and like, let's go. Let's fish. And so I get on there and I start casting, and he's showing me, hey, look, this is how you cast. You know, your arm up and you post this way, and then you get rid of the excess in the line. You let it flow. He's using all this terminology. I have no idea what it means, but I'm starting to do this, right? Within 10 minutes, this happens. And I'm going to show you the video.
Let's see what we got.
Yeah. I gotta try not to fall over. So you can see there's a fish in the net, right? I wish there was a way to zoom in on this. There probably is, and I haven't figured it out. There's a fish in the net, and it's actually a decent sized fish, right? Well, what the video doesn't show you is in the next 5 seconds, Ryan, who again, who I would consider an expert. He's got all the gear. He's got the net, got the fish in the net. Well, the fish got tangled up in the line, right? Still hooked and tangled up in the line. So he kind of braces the net against his body, and he's messing with the fish, trying to get it, unhooked and unwound, if you will. So I can get the fish and I can take the proverbial, hey, look, here's a picture of me with the fish, right? Within 5 seconds of this shot ending, Mr. Fish, while Ryan is trying to get it all set up, decides, hey, I don't want to be here anymore. Peace out. And he jumps out of the net and swims away. So I don't have a picture of me with my fish, right? So Ryan will never live this down. Just so you guys know, he will never live the fact that I had a fish and he let it go. I'm not bitter, right? But it was really interesting to me, right? And I laugh about it, and he'll laugh about it until he's tired of me talking about it. But it was really interesting to me, this whole process of fishing, right? Like, still rookie in the game, right? And I'm having to lean on someone else to help me with everything from, equipment to where to stand, to how to stand, to what bait, to how to cast, to, oh, hey, you got to nibble, you got to bite. Here's what you need to do, to reeling it in, right? And there's all these different aspects of fishing. For you guys who love to fish, you're probably laughing at me right now, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay, right? But I had no idea what I was doing. So I was leaning heavily on someone who had that experience, someone who I believed could help me get the results that I wanted, which up until that last minute, right, he did. But here's the crazy part, right? This is where we screw up as business owners. We're on the path to get the result that we want, and all of a sudden, something out of our control goes sideways. And what's the first thing we do? I'm doing it jokingly, but we do it seriously, is we push the blame onto, you guessed it, someone else. It's Johnny's fault that my marketing doesn't work because I don't have leads coming in. It's Charles' fault that the job is behind because I hired him to be the project manager. He should know what to do, right? At the end of the day, what ends up happening is because we don't accept responsibility, then we blame everyone else. And the problem with blaming everyone else is, guess what? You can't be responsible for the solution either, right? So yeah, funny story, me fishing, lose the fish, haha. But at the end of the day, this is how you're running your business as well, right? You're waiting for someone or something else to solve the problem for you. I'm going to take a second and shout out a couple more folks that we have here. We got Shania Wayman with Waco Enterprises. They're out of Tooele, Utah. They do some underground utilities. Then we got Happy Pipes Plumbing, Deb, here in the Salt Lake City area as well. So going back to this topic, right? The first thing I want you to understand is it's not your fault that you think that way. Society teaches us to think that way, right? If I fail at something, I'm immediately going to what? I'm going to point the finger at someone or something else. I'm going to say it's the weather's fault that I couldn't get the job done. It's Google's fault that I'm not getting any leads. It's whoever's fault for whatever the thing is. Naturally, as a society, that's what we've become, right? Versus hey, you know what? It's my responsibility, right? Like, I could blame Ryan for the fish wiggling out, but the truth is it's not Ryan's fault. Like, I was fishing. Well, I assigned it to Ryan. It's Ryan's fault, or is it my fault, right? So there's a difference here that I want you to understand. And the difference is between fault and responsibility, right? If your new employee drives that truck into the median, that's your responsibility. It's his fault, right? And I'm not saying let him off the hook. It's his fault, but it's your responsibility. What's the difference between the two, right? When you own the responsibility, you can do something about it. When you're simply pointing the finger and saying it belongs to someone else, you can't ever do anything about it, right? So that's the whole point that I want you guys to understand. And Daniel made a comment here. He says, key point also was surrounding yourself with people better than you, the proximity principle, 100%. We'll talk about that here in a second, okay? So what am I saying? Am I saying that you should do everything, that you should run your ads, run your jobs, run your billing, run away because you're stressed out and overworked, or as Shania likes to say, go get a margarita, right? Yes, you can do that, but it's not going to give you the result that you want, right? Joe, very, very profound statement here. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the cause or the problem, 100%, right? So think about it this way, right? I want you guys to shift the way that you're looking at what's going on in your business right now. We're halfway through the year. How many of you are meeting or exceeding the goals or the targets that you had for the year? We call them targets because, well, I like guns, right? How many of you are meeting or exceeding your goals or your targets for the year? How many of you are behind? I'm just going to throw this out there because I've been doing this for years. Odds are 20% of you are exceeding, 80% of you are behind. Again, I'm not saying that for any other reason than that's the data, right? The data always ends up that way. But here's what I want you to know. If you don't take the time to say, where am I at in relationship to where I want to go, and what adjustments or changes do I need to make to get back on the path, you'll never get there, period. The second thing is when things go wrong, not if. You guys know this. It's not an if Johnny will call in sick. It's not an if the power will go out. It's not an if so-and-so won't pay for 30, 60, maybe 90 days. It's a when, right? The when. What are you going to do, right? Are you going to point the finger or are you going to accept responsibility? I'll give you another really good example. We've been really preaching a lot lately in our group, the idea of having a backup, if you will, when it comes to cash flow, right? And I say that because unfortunately, sometimes people pay and sometimes they don't. Unfortunately, sometimes people take some time to pay, right? And it's the reality of it, especially if you're in the commercial world, which we are with our company Summit Partners. It just takes time. Every single job, I got subs breathing down my neck saying, hey, where's my check, right? And I would love to say I control that, but I don't, right? And so if you don't have control over your cash flow cycle and you're blaming the GC or the owner or whoever it is for the lack of funds, at the end of the day, you're at their mercy, whether they pay you or not, versus being in a situation where I own responsibility for my cash flow. And I know that in the summer, things are going to get a little wild. They're going to get a little hairy, which means before the summer, what should I probably do? I should probably find a source of cash flow so I have access to it, not when I need it, but if I need it. Catching my drift here. So I want to hear from you guys. Go ahead and drop it in the comments. What is one thing right now that you kind of been kicking the can down the road when it comes to responsibility? Is it hiring? Is it getting your bills paid? Is it getting your invoices out on time? Is it marketing, right? Is it your hiring process? Is it getting rid of that guy? What is it? What is it for you, right? That you've kind of been kicking the can down the road. Now, I'll tell you what it is for us, full transparency. We sat down and had our meeting, our quarterly meeting, my wife and I, and we talked about what worked and what didn't work. We talked about what's working and what's not working. And full transparency, there's a lot of stuff that I've been trying to push onto her. Excuse me. A lot of stuff I've been trying to push onto her, expecting her to take full responsibility for it, which in and of itself is not a bad thing, except I'm not giving her the tools or the resources that she needs to get it done. And so when we first started, I was like, hey, cool. Here's your program, Job Tread. Here's your subs. It's not really organized and it's not up to date. Good luck. Let me know when you're caught up. right? And that's a horrible position to put someone in, right? Again, I have to own that responsibility. And this morning when we sat down, we said, okay, let's dial this thing back, right? What are the things that are missing? What do I need to provide for you so that you can get the thing done that you need to get done? Simple example, right? Daniel, he's in the process of a buyout or a potential buyout, we should say at this point. And he says, hey, I'm kicking the can again, right? Like, Daniel, do you want this thing to happen or not? And if the answer is no, that's not a bad thing. Just end it. Quit wasting your time and theirs. But if it's a yes, cool. What do I need to do to make this thing happen? Do I need to provide the updated financials, right? Do I need to give them something else? Do I need to get back to them as far as where I believe, my company's worth and what I believe this buyout process should look like? If I'm willing to do this earnout or really to be held back a little bit, and hang out with the company for 6, 9, 12 months while this transition happens. Like, there's a lot of variables in that, right? Well, it's not up to them to figure it out. It's up to you. If you want the cash, you want to be bought out, cool. Set the parameters, get the ball rolling, do the thing that you need to do. For any of you right now, though, I just want you to understand this concept, right? I need you to understand the fact that, yes, it's your responsibility. And I don't say it in a way that like you feel like you got to carry all the weight on your back. That's not what this is about, right? This is about understanding that I want to have control over the outcome. So what actions do I need to take to control the outcome? Shania here, and we've had this conversation, right? She says, I need to get that working capital in place. And she's working on it, right? The question is, what do we need to do? What do we need to do to make that happen? We've got motivated laborers here going through the process of transitioning from DBA to LLC, filing taxes, bookkeeping, and much more. Been to, I know what the B is, BUSY, busy, right? Busy always gets in our way, but it's not going to get done if you don't do it, right? It's not going to get done. So here's my invitation for each of you, right? It's Monday. We are halfway through this year. There's an old saying that I had a coach one tell me, it was probably 10 years ago, right? Sounds kind of silly, but it's true. If it is to be, it's up to me. If it is to be, it's up to me. Like, that's it. And it doesn't mean that you do everything. That's not what this conversation is about. It's about you taking responsibility over everything. And so less thinking of, hey, me doing everything. I need to answer the phones. I need to do the estimates. I need to do the jobs. Oh, and by the way, I also need to do the billing and the hiring, like all that stuff. That's not what this is about, right? This is about you understanding that you're like the quarterback on the team, or you're like the coach, right? Your job is to put the right people in the right position to execute. And if they don't, it's still your responsibility to either coach them up, right? Talk to them, or get rid of them, right? Ultimately, all your responsibility, right? Don't accept fault for everything, but accept responsibility. So I want you guys to be less like me, the fisherman, right? Losing my fish. And then I am going to jokingly blame Ryan for the rest of my life. He let the big one go away. It started this big, and by the time I'm done with it, it'll probably be like a 6-foot sea monster, right? It's going to be huge. Don't be like me though, right? It's my responsibility. Like, I literally stood there and watched Ryan play with the fish. Maybe it's his fault that it got away, but it's my responsibility, right? So take that lesson and start to apply it today in your business. Joe says, put the people on the bus in the right seats. 100%. 100%. Like I've told you guys before, and I'll tell you again, I am not a finance expert. So if you try and get me to run your numbers, I will fail within 5 minutes. Don't be like me. Okay? Don't be like me. Don't put people in the wrong seat if they don't belong there. It is your responsibility to put the right people in the right seat. All right. We got a couple of additional comments here. Motivated laborers, understood. Thank you. Yes, sir. Axecraft, hello. Wilson's Art and Designs here. DBA, Craftsworks, Media Productions. Thank you for showing up. Happy Pipe says, action figures next time we go fishing is a must. Yes, 100%. They were there as well. Shania says, show the picture of your face after it got away. I don't have it right now. I'm waiting for it to come my way. But yes, I was like the disappointed, like, oh, what happened? Super excited and wasn't there anymore. Anyway, enough about me fishing. This is about you and your business. So this week, ask yourself the question right now in my business, what am I not accepting responsibility for? And what do I need to do to accept that responsibility and then take the actions necessary to find a solution to that problem? All right. You guys know what time it is, though. It's time for you guys to get after it. Have a great week. 3, 2,